Hi there. I'm going to show you how to fix some stuff that doesn't really think, look like it's possible to be fixed. Anyway, today I'm going to be working with this magnetic resistance bicycle trainer, the Mag Turbo Ergo Minoura, and I've already taken off the resistance assembly. This is part of it, and what happened was the center piece on it was spinning freely and not hooking up with resistance. All I can say is it's this little spindle. It was spinning on the axle. Axle is here, and from what I could tell, there's probably some mass-produced process to get this thing put together, which wasn't very satisfactory, and there's probably a lot of broken trainers out there like this. Anyway, you can see on the ends there's a little indentation notch where the set screw for each of the flywheels that go on either end of the shaft go. So there's one here, and in the middle there's another one. However, there was no shaft on the middle of this thing, or set screw hole, and maybe that's because, who knows why. But anyway, inside here, all I could tell, you can't really see inside from this video, but I don't know exactly how they held it together, perhaps with glue or something, but of course it broke loose. So what I did was, I figured I needed to put a set screw in to hold it in place better than anything else. I thought of like just drilling a hole sideways through it and then lining up with the shaft and then sticking a nail in to line up with it. But then I thought, well, if the other side said set screws in it, we'll do set screws in this as well. So what I'm going to do, I've taken a drill, drilled a hole in here. I also have a tap set that I got at the yard sale for almost nothing. And then I found a screw that would line up with the proper tap. And the way I did it was, I was just unscrewing this screw that I threaded in. This tap and this screw, and held them up and looked at the threads to see if they fit together properly. Before threading, what I did was I looked at the diameter of the end of this, and I just figured out a drill bit that would fit, that would allow me still to cut threads that were larger than the drill hole. And I practiced a board, a little 2x4 board, by drilling a hole in it and then tapping it first after I drilled it. Put in my tap, and I have a tap tool. This is the top part that tightens onto the end, and then you turn it and cut it. And when you're cutting threads, use a little bit of oil. And for this, I just use some Pro-Link chain lube or WD-40 works good too. You've got to have that, or you'll end up breaking these cutting tools. I had to start with a little pilot hole, so I drilled a little hole first to get things lined up. Once I did, then I got my bigger drill bit and stuck it in here and drilled through. So now what I'm going to do is cut this so that it's going to be just the right amount when it's recessed, and it will go and be submerged down below the tire line where the tire is going to be rotating on here. And then I'm going to cut an edge on the end here. So I've cut the head off of the bolt. Now I'm going to use a cutting tool, a Dremel cutting tool, to cut a slot on the top of that bolt to make this screwdriver. Alright, so now I've cut that down to size, and it's a little uneven. I'm going to shape it down and get it to be the right depth. Alright, so here it is with the set screw in place and on the shaft, and I'm going to be tightening this down a couple of times to see if I can get it down to where it needs to go. I don't know if I have the right size screwdriver, I probably don't, but I'll be tightening that down and see if it goes exactly to where I want it to go, to what depth. And it's almost there. But that makes it a secure connection. Now it's not turning at all, and I just want to make sure I've got it set into the correct groove I'm going to loosen it up and see if I feel a bit of resistance in the stop by loosening it up, and that way I know I've got it set into the groove on that shaft that we saw earlier. And it does, it's in the right place. So I know I'm going to have to shape it down just a little bit more to get it to the right depth. But once I do, then I'm done, and I'm going to put some thread locker around it before I put it in. So here's the finished product. We have a screw that is flush with the top. Instead of spinning on the shaft, now the shaft spins with the barrel, which is awesome. So I'm going to put it back together and see how it works. I'm so excited. In putting it back on, I had to hammer the bearing back on that I had to take off in order to slide this barrel off the shaft. So I had to hammer it back on. When I did, I was hammering on one of the ends, and I had to it kind of gnarled the end out, so I wouldn't be able to get the flywheel on, so I had to grind it on the grinder. Just held it at an edge and turned it and ground it down. It works.